The Boston Athletic Association has promised to, quote, do better after police officers along last Monday's marathon course blocked off a predominantly black crowd of spectators and celebrators along the race's route in Newton, which you can see in this video posted to Twitter after the race.
All around here, and a helicopter right behind us. Why are we surrounded by police? Why are we surrounded by police?
Complaints of racial profiling and unfair treatment by police led to a meeting between two of the running groups who set up a cheer zone at that race and the BAA, which of course puts on the marathon. The groups are Pioneers Run Crew and Trailblazers Run Co. They have also called for an investigation and an apology from Newton's mayor and chief of police. And joining me now are the two captains from the Pioneers Run Crew, Elise Lash and Francis Ramirez. Francis is the co-founder of the Trailblazers Run Co. Thank you both for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
So, Elise, talk to me about that video that Mike Remy posted in what you understand of what happened on that day.
Yeah, to be honest, every time we watch the video, it's triggering. It's disappointing. Something that we do every year is to gather a group of folks from our local running crews, but also running crews from all over the country. We had friends from Detroit and Atlanta and in Virginia all coming in town to cheer for our fellow runners at the marathon. And the moment of that scene just reminds me of how overwhelming it was to feel like we didn't belong there. And knowing that this tradition of us cheering in our way, being able to celebrate, to be able to go all out for our other fellow runners is something that's really important to us. It's important to our running culture, and to have the police presence there was, first of all, unnecessary, but to me, just seemed such a clear intimidation factor that just felt very unfair and wasn't given or wasn't shared with anyone else on the course except for our group, which is made up of predominantly black and brown runners and spectators.
Yeah, and Francis, I was thinking to myself, the initial statement that had come out from law enforcement and from the mayor of Newton and others was there was a disruption to the runners on the course, and that's why that presence was there. But then I think of the history of the marathon, the kissing tunnel, the proposals, the large gestures that happen all the time in comparison to what I saw was a dance party on other posts as well. So to see the police presence show up, I mean, what came to your mind?
Simple as this. Well, when Black people do it, it's a problem, right? So that's what I saw. You saw the kissing tunnels. I saw inflatable balloons on the course. It's when Black people, brown people do it, it's a problem, it's an issue. So we were policed because of that. They don't want to see us shine bright. They didn't want to see us celebrate our friends. They didn't want to see us show camaraderie, which running is all about, if you think about it. We were there till the beginning and till the end. So we stand by our mission of showing, our mission of celebrating that day and showing camaraderie throughout everybody, not just Black and brown people. We're celebrating absolutely everyone. Shapes and sizes and such. But again, like I said, when Black and brown people do it, it's a problem. But when they do it, it's not a problem.
USA Running put out a survey in 2020 that showed that about 3% of all runners are actually Black American. And I think that having that support, like what both of your running, the running crews provide, is so important in increasing that number, because of course it's important to remember, even though the winners of the Boston Marathon are often African, and we all know about the track and field as predominantly or looks predominantly Black. 3% of runners overall in running are Black. So what does it do when something like this happens? What does it do to the efforts to increase diversity in running and in the sport? And Elise, I'll start with you.
Sure. I mean, to me, I feel really hopeful about the movement of increasing racial diversity in the sport of running. We know historically that running has been seen as an event, as a sport that is for white people. Just like, you know, hockey and skiing, it's easy as a Black person to say, oh, I love that for you, like that's your thing, but I don't see myself there, I don't feel accepted there, so I'm not going to participate. But we're moving away from that as an industry in a way that makes me feel really hopeful. There's so many diversity initiatives to think about and to gather people together to have dialogues about how do we change these demographics? How do we make running feel more safe, more accessible, more inclusive to people who are not the traditional stereotypical runner? And I serve on the steering committee for the Boston Running Collaborative, which is the BAA's diversity initiative. And I feel so hopeful in those conversations because of people like the BAA who speak to their intention and mission of making running more equitable and accessible to people of color. But when moments like this happen, especially at a race that is receiving global attention, it's an enormous setback. To me, it feels like it's erasing a lot of progress, a lot of words that have been spoken about intentions that feels very hurtful. It feels very performative of people who say that they want to put on, that they want to celebrate Black and brown people, and they want to make us feel welcome, make us feel like we belong. But then moments like that, scenes like that, even watching that video again, to me, just feels really devastating because it feels like there's still clearly these discrepancies, these disparities that just aren't fair. And so why would somebody want to come run? Why would somebody want to come cheer if they have to worry about their safety, if they have to worry about being overly policed? Of course, that's going to be a setback. And to us, that feels really disappointing, but we're not going to stop what we're doing. All of us come to running because we care about it a lot. We recognize the beautiful benefits, the physical benefits, the mental health benefits, the community benefits of this sport. And we're trying to make it, and we're trying to bring our own culture to it. And we hope that can be celebrated. But we also know that change is hard. And we know that people are so used to doing things the way they've always done them.
Yeah. Francis, weigh in here.
Oh, yes. Well, I mean, this just validates our work, right? We created space for people of color. We created space for women of color. This just amplifies our work even harder, right? You want a safe space, come to us. You know, like you need somewhere to like feel welcome, to feel loved and appreciated, come to us. Come to Trailblazers, come to Pioneers Run Crew. We welcome everybody. The work needs to be done. I mean, this is just small steps. Granted, the work that we did with the BRC, the Boston Running Collective, have set us way back, even before the running committee was established. There's a lot of work to be done, and I'm sure we can get it done with the BAA if they choose to put the best foot forward with us.
Well, let's talk about the Boston Marathon itself. Allison Desir, she wrote Running While Black, and she posted an excerpt from her book right there. It says, runners talk about the Boston tradition, but a tradition of what? If Boston is the pinnacle, what does that say about what we value? Exclusivity is antithetical to the belief that running is for everyone. A sport open to all cannot elevate faster runners as more deserving of a race, of being more representative of runners. Can we see all runners as deserving of space and place it? It comes down to asking, what is it we truly value, inclusion or exclusion? Elise, you know, I know that Allison was at the marathon and the events around it as well. There was a really powerful discussion between riders who are in the running community and talking about diversity. I mean, it seems like what happened on Monday is elucidating what Allison wrote here.
Yeah, it's interesting you read that clip because I've read Running While Black twice, and Allison is a good friend of ours. She's always been so supportive about what we're creating. And there's an entire chapter in her book that's called Inclusion, Exclusion. And that chapter highlights the problematic pieces of the Boston Marathon in particular, because we know historically that that event was designed for and by elitism. It's focused on elitism and exclusive priorities, knowing that people love the Boston Marathon for those reasons, right? It's incredibly competitive to run in the first place, to join the field. It's a huge barrier of entry to a lot of folks, especially folks who are lower income, especially folks who live in the city of Boston. We know that the race course doesn't run in the city of Boston. There's only 2 miles of Boston Marathon that are actually in the city of Boston. The rest are in the white suburbs. And to me, when I think about that race in particular, it's so clear that it's designed for and by upper middle class, white, elite people, runners, and that's not us. And to me, I appreciate how Allison ties in really beautifully the history of the sport, specifically the history of the Boston Marathon, and how it is built on exclusivity in a way that people really cherish, in a way that people really praise, in a way that people value. But our missions in Pioneers Run Crew and in Trailblazers Run Co. are redefining what that is, because we know that that is not fair, that's not safe, that we don't see ourselves there. So like Francis mentioned, we're on a mission to sort of create our own table, to create our own narrative, to create our own culture outside of the deeply historic, really prized, really treasured parts of the Boston Marathon that we realize have a lot of problems, and they directly contradict with this concept of trying to be inclusive.
And Francis, we have heard in the running world that people of color don't always feel safe running outside, or especially by themselves. We've unfortunately seen cases in the news where this has been proven true. Talk to me about your work in trying to bring more people of color to the sport, making them feel like it was safe. You talked about it, you know, your organization being a safe place for runners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we safety in numbers too, right? So we run in groups. We never leave a runner behind. And that's really what our mission is, right? We safety in numbers and always keeping tabs on each other. Like, hey, checking in mentally or physically too. You know, on a run, sometimes you might be killing it, but you might be really killing inside. So there's also that part.
Absolutely.
Yeah, one thing I'll add to that is so much of the planning and designing and the programming of Trailblazers and Pioneers is thinking about the concept of equity.
Yeah.
And part of equity involves planning for people on the margins, right? Because people who have privilege will continue to have privilege, but part of the design of our work is always thinking, like Francis said, that no runner left behind, that all paces are welcome, all running levels of experience are welcome, and that we're here to make people feel like they're seen, that they belong here, in a way that the culture of the Boston Marathon just doesn't prioritize. And like I said, some people really love that and appreciate that and value that for its own pieces. But so much of our design is always thinking about how do we create our events for people who are in the back of the pack? How do we make sure that we're celebrating not just the first place people, not just the people who are really strong runners, but the people who are new, to let them know that they also belong here. And to us, that's
we also
something
offer. Sorry to interrupt. We also offer a 1 mile walking / running. Like we meet you wherever you are in your journey of your fitness, right? And I say fitness because not everyone is a runner. So we meet you halfway where you need to. And we've had people blossom from walking to running a marathon, you know, several of them actually. So we're that supportive.
Right. Well, I'll end our conversation here. I could talk about this for a very long time with something that Jeff Davis from Black Men Run said to me and has said before. You know, historically, if you live in a place like Roxbury, your life expectancy is around 58. If you live in the Back Bay, it's 91. And groups like yours and Black Men Run are hoping to make that different and change those outcomes, because those two communities are only 3 miles apart. Thank you both for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.